Good evening, Bulavinaka and Namaste. I'm Vijay Narayan. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk, and as promised, this is a special Fiji Village Straight Talk as we have Barbara O'Neill, author, educator, naturopath, nutritionist, and an international speaker on natural healing. She's here again from Australia, and she'll be sharing about her journey and what she does. And also we have Dr. Rajesh Maharaj, the former president of Fiji College of General Practitioners. Dr. Rajesh is a general practitioner with special interest in non-communicable diseases or lifestyle diseases, child health and natural medicine. A lot has been said even before Barbara's current visit in relation to why you're here. So let's start off with that, Barbara. People are asking, what are you doing in Fiji?
Well, the fact is I've been coming to Fiji for probably, we worked out about 22 years now. And my friend Harriet, she asked me to come. I guess I first started with women's meetings, and then it went into youth camps, and I'd speak there. And I basically am speaking to the young people about looking after their body and preventing diseases later on. I haven't been for a few years. Basically, COVID stopped a lot of things, and this is the first time probably since about 2019 that I've been here. And my friend Harriet, she loves me to speak on teaching people how to look after their bodies, how to get the most out of their bodies. If they're well, how to keep well, and if they're not well, simple lifestyle changes that can bring about healing.
Dr. Rajesh, you definitely, as a general practitioner, really speaking to the people directly in relation to lifestyle diseases. How worrying is that issue at the moment for our country?
Oh, it's definitely very worrying, no doubt about that. These statistics are alarming, and we are doing so much, but we're not achieving what we want to achieve, and people are not looking after themselves well. They are not concerned about the health. They're too much of processed foods and alcohol and carbonated drinks, sugar, and lack of exercise. So really, there needs to be a paradigm shift, and I think people need to be taught, and people need to be encouraged to read about what does it mean to have NCD, what does it mean to have diabetes, what does it mean to have hypertension, and how it affects your body. If they do that on themselves, then they will have a better insight than by just listening to us.
This is a special show also because we are entering the festive season. So what a way to make a change if we start during maybe the high eating period here in Fiji with all sorts of parties, etc. Barbara, just you have a big following in Fiji. I think you know that already. A lot of people follow you in terms of your videos that go out on a daily basis. But there's also people questioning about whether you have the medical background and whether you have actually asked people to stop taking medication. There's evidence to prove that also fake news has been generated using AI, sort of showing that you may be speaking, but it's not actually you. What do you have to say to those people who may be sitting tonight saying, I don't really trust what you say?
Yeah, and I totally understand that. I guess my qualifications are that I live in a human body and I've worked out how to look after it. And I'm into my 70th years now, and my body still works very well. And I always look at the ancestors of Fiji. They did not have diseases. They did not have what we're seeing today. And what did they eat? And how did they live? That's what we should be studying. I worked as the health director of our health retreat in Australia for 23 years. So we had thousands of people come through our doors And I never told anyone to stop their medication because it's not my right. I would say to them, only you and your doctor have authority over your medication, but if I was you, I would implement these lifestyle changes. And as the body starts to work better, it's quite possible that you can start to ease off little by little. It would depend on the medication. I do not believe I have to have a medical background to do what I do, because I'm not speaking about drugs. I'm speaking about the body and its ability to heal itself when you give it the right conditions.
Do you also have issues with the Australian authorities at the moment?
Well, they seem to have an issue with me, but I believe that it's because, and we certainly believe this, it's because my husband has a political party in Australia called HEART, Health, Environment, Accountability, Rights and Transparency, that they are not happy with what he is advocating. He's advocating free choice. And we believe they took me down because of his political party, because as the lawyer said to us when I went through the tribunal, she said, they've got nothing on you. And my husband said, does that mean they will lift the ban? And she said, no, Barbara will get a life ban, but she won't go to prison, because if she was guilty, she'd go to prison.
Dr. Maharaj, what do you think? Because people are also watching this in terms of what Barbara's saying, in terms of medication, and of course you come from the medical field. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, she's already said that she's not asking anybody to stop medication, but she's advocating natural health, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's the founder of medicine, Hippocrates, he said that let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. So that concept is very much talked about now, and people are getting more and more aware that that health is not only about taking medications. In fact, we are relying too much on medications rather than relying on diet. And the missing link that is there, very much prevalent in the society in terms of good health, is that people are not eating healthy, people are not exercising, and people are taking a lot of sugar and fried food and carbonated drinks, and they do not resort to a natural healthy living, as she said. So I think if there is any country where we can rely a lot on natural living, natural healthy living, where the environment is good, the climate is good, and there's lots of healthy organic food, it is Fiji. So yes, I think we should take advantage of that.
Now, Barbara, you hinted a bit in terms of how things were like before. The last official statistics for Fiji done back in 2011, and I hope we have the latest statistics done soon, because data speaks to us and then what we can do in relation to that. But already worrying from 2011, over 80% of deaths in Fiji are from cardiovascular disease, followed by diabetes and hypertension, and then now kidney failure and others, they are coming up. That is quite worrying, and that was back in 2011. You've been speaking to a lot of Fijians during your sessions. Looking at these statistics, what's your message to the people?
My message very much is to go back to the original food. Go back to that beautiful lunch I had yesterday. I had dal, I had chickpeas, I had cassava, I had sweet potato, I had plantains cooked in the coconut milk. Beautiful food. These are the food that the Fijian people traditionally ate. And I say to some of the young people, if you're not sure how to cook it, go and visit your grandmother. I'm sure she still remembers how to cook it. But this food is nourishing food. As a nutritionist, we studied that the 3 essential food groups are fibre. All of that food is full of fibre. Oh, I had corn too, corn on the cob. Proteins, great proteins in the legumes. Also the coconut. So the chickpeas, the lima beans, the lentils, the split peas, excellent forms of protein. And the 3rd essential food group is fats. Now, Fiji has the most beautiful fats, which is coconut. And only now, finally, the cardiologist acknowledging that the saturated fat is not causing heart disease. It didn't cause heart disease in the Fijians 200, 300, 400 years ago. What is causing a lot of problems in the cardiovascular system, which of course is the blood network through the body, is the cheap seed oils. So these cheap seed oils are the oils that are extracted from hard seeds using high heat chemical equipment. So there's your soy oil, your peanut oil, your safflower oil, the canola oil. They're dangerous oils because they have the ability to get into the bloodstream and damage the arterial walls, thus contributing to cardiovascular disease. Not the coconut. The coconut is an excellent fat.
Dr. Maharaj, 80% of deaths, as we talked about, cardiovascular disease. You also have a special interest in NCDs. What are the stats telling us from 2011?
As you already mentioned, 80% of deaths due to cardiovascular diseases. Diabetes was 16% in 2011. I'm sure the latest research is about to come out, and it will be very interesting to see where we stand, but I'm sure it's going to be more. Hypertension is one in every 3 individuals are hypertensive in Fiji. Obesity is again around 30%, and if you combine obesity and overweight, then it's about 66% of the Fijian population is overweight and obesity combined. So definitely the statistics are not looking good. Just like to reiterate what she has said about oil. Everything that she has said about oil and about natural healthy living is spot on, and I think the audience should take a heed of what she said. The commercial oil, like seed oil and commercial oil that she has mentioned, when it is heated, it in the first place it goes through extensive chemical processing, which leads to formation of trans fats and unhealthy fats, which causes inflammation in the body. And inflammation is something that damages the immune system and challenges the immune system, and inflammation in our body contributes to chronic disease like hypertension, diabetes, ischemic heart disease, cataracts, stroke is all contributed by inflammation. So something that the general public that should read about is inflammation, what are the causes of inflammation, and how inflammation begins to contribute to disease and non-communicable disease even in young age, even in teenagers. So that's where cardiovascular disease, heart disease begins in teenage because of the underlying process of inflammation. So the question is, what oil is good? She said that coconut oil, but it has to be cold pressed coconut oil, not the coconut oil that we get in the supermarket, because that's again a factory process. It should be cold pressed coconut oil. Ghee is very good for cooking, although it's saturated, but it's good for cooking. Why? Because the boiling point or the heating, the temperature at which it has a high resistance to heat damage. Ghee, avocado oil, and cold pressed coconut oil. So that's why these 3 oils is the best for cooking, and other oils they easily get damaged when they are heated. And
where do you get those things? The ghee just from the supermarket? Is that the one? Or
that is all right. The one that
you
is
said the coconut oil not from the supermarket.
Not from the supermarket. Cold pressed. Some of the supermarkets are having cold pressed coconut oil now.
Why I'm asking the question is because people get this knowledge now. You are talking about it, and they want to make a real change, and they say, okay, where can I go for this now?
Yeah. Some of the supermarkets do sell cold pressed coconut oil. Otherwise, in the markets, we get cold pressed coconut oil. We don't have natural shops, but yes, some of the supermarkets do have, and I think. I'm not sure whether agro marketing
maybe they should.
Yeah.
If it's healthy, why not?
It is healthy, and they should. So that's about inflammation and oil. And while we in the topic of oil, a lot of people know that olive oil is healthy. But the mistake that people do is they use olive oil in cooking. Now, olive oil should not be heated. If you heat olive oil, it produces toxic compounds. Olive oil should be eaten raw. So people should have cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, and that they should eat it raw. We can just add it to our dal, or add it to our soup, or to whatever food that salad, porridge. Yeah,
that's exactly what I advise. Absolutely. Where I put the olive oil at the end of my stir fry, the end of my dal, and put it in the salad.
That's right, yeah. And don't heat it.
Because
yeah.
the heating changes it.
Use it as salad dressing. And olive oil also has omega-3 fatty acids, which is essential fatty acids. Omega-3 is in olive oil and it's walnuts. So people should be, those who go to overseas and buy lots and lots of chocolate, I would advise that maybe reduce the amount of chocolate that you're buying for your children and for your family. Get walnuts, get pistachios, get almonds. Nuts are cheaper in Australia and New Zealand. It's much expensive in Fiji. Get healthy nuts, macadamia nuts, and that has unsaturated healthy fats. Yeah.
Let's talk about inflammation. You hit the nail on the head about inflammation. For someone who's watching this out there, inflammation in your body, how dangerous is that?
Well, all disease grows on inflammation. It's well known cancer grows on inflammation. So we've got to get that inflammation down. But I always want to know why. Why is there inflammation there? Do you know there can be inflammation in a dehydrated body? There can be inflammation in a body that's getting these cheap seed oils. So there's always a reason. So once again, we get back to the diet and those refined foods, those foods that have got all the refined oils in them, the refined flours, the refined sugar. Now there's nothing wrong with the sugar cane, but it takes about half an hour to eat 2 inches of sugar cane. It takes 1 me to deliver 1 teaspoon of refined sugar. So that's what we're looking at. If the children want a dessert, give them a piece of sugar cane, because it's high in minerals, lots of fibre, and that fibre will slowly release the glucose. But when you take that refined sugar, you get this blood sugar level rise immediately, and that refined sugar feeds inflammation.
Well, Fiji, there's some people who put about, 4 or 5 teaspoons in a small cup of tea or coffee.
You know what? They'll have inflammation. It just feeds it.
I mean, if they are doing that on a regular basis, they will have inflammation, they will have hypertension, they will have obesity, they will have diabetes.
Oh yes, and a lot of people don't realise this. And if you look at the science behind how the body uses that high sugar, it actually can't use it all, so it stores it as fat.
It's fat, yeah.
So many people go on a low-fat, no-fat diet wanting to lose weight, but fat gives satiation, which is the satisfaction feeling with a meal. So if they're not on fat, they're wanting to eat all day long, and they go for the fast things, which are the refined sugars, the refined carbohydrates. That's what body stores as fat.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break. In a world where opinions are loud and facts can fade, there's one voice in Fiji that stays true to the truth. For 40 years, our news team has brought factual and reliable information on our 5 radio stations: FM 96, Legend FM, Naftarang, VT FM, Radio Sargam, and for over 2 decades, Fiji Village has been where credibility lives, connecting Fijians to the stories that matter most. With over 3 million monthly page views and a growing digital reach across Fiji and beyond, Fiji Village delivers news as it happens when it happens. The news, sports, in-depth talk shows, explainers, special events, entertainment, business sections, video features from our 5 radio stations and live radio all come together on this live and engaging platform. Through our flagship show Straight Talk, we bring the nation's most important voices, the people of the country and the leaders to the forefront, creating space for dialogue, accountability and change. From breaking stories to community campaigns, Fiji Village has become part of the fabric of everyday Fiji life. For businesses and brands, partnering with Fiji Village means more than just visibility. It's credibility. Fiji Village, Fiji's most trusted digital news source. Real people, real stories. Fiji Village, your trusted news provider. Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight from Australia, Barbara O'Neill, author, educator, naturopath, nutritionist, and international speaker on natural healing. Dr. Rajesh Maharaj, former president of Fiji College of General Practitioners. He's a general practitioner with special interest in non-communicable diseases or lifestyle diseases, child health, and natural medicine. Let's talk about diabetes. We have very high rates of diabetes. It's interesting what the new statistics will say, but there are 3 amputations daily in Fiji, and it's calculated to one limb lost almost every 12 and a half hours in a day, and we have now seen the creeping up of people dying because of heart diseases connected to it, and also kidney failures because people are unable to afford dialysis, etc. And the government is getting overwhelmed with these requests too, and a number of beds occupied because of that. Let's start off with diabetes. From your perspective, how concerning are these stats?
Well, you have already mentioned the alarming amputation rate that we have in Fiji, and 16% was the prevalence in 2011. But by the look of things, definitely it seems that it's much more, and a lot of people are having diabetes and are undiagnosed. They're not aware that they're having diabetes. So the symptoms are well known to people, but people are ignoring it. It's a very, very serious concern that diabetes is being so common in Fiji, and it leads to complications, as you already mentioned: heart disease, retinopathy, eye problems, and kidney disease. And yet people are not taking heed of the warning. People are not eating healthy. So we are not achieving what we want to achieve. The message is not sinking. So I think we need to revisit the strategy that we are using trying to control the disease, and we need to follow evidence-based strategies, and evidence-based strategies are there. We don't have time to go and in detail discuss that, but the focus should be that sugar intake is a huge problem in Fiji, plus carbonated drinks and processed food, carbohydrates. The problem in Fiji is that people eat a lot of bread, a lot of cassava, and a lot of white rice, and a lot of biscuits and snacks. So these are all basically refined carbohydrates, whereas people have moved away from healthy staple food, healthy carbohydrates such as yam, such as sweet potato, dalo, and breadfruit, chestnut, iwi. So these are things, and bananas, like we have wundi, variety bundi. That is very, very healthy. So this is something that we really need to emphasize to our people, to educate our people, and people need to support support these measures, because this will also support our farmers.
Let's talk about the high level of bread intake. I believe you've been talking about that to the people of Fiji.
I have. And what really opened my eyes was Dr. William Davis's book, Wheat Belly. And it's an appropriate title because he shows that the wheat was hybridized in the 1950s. So the wheat that we have today is not the wheat that God made. They hybridized it in the 50s to help with the starvation crisis in Africa, in India, in Mexico, and it was rushed through with no safety studies. They didn't think they had to do safety studies on wheat, and only now we're starting to see the effect it has. And the fact is that the hybridization of the wheat changed the starch structure. And the starch structure is called amylopectin A, and it gets the blood sugar level up higher than sugar. And when you have a look at the refined sugars or the refined foods we're talking about, how many are a combination of refined sugar and the flour? So many are a combination of that. So what we have found at our retreat, we don't serve the wheat at all at our retreat. We get people to go back on a basic plant-based diet and getting the carbohydrate contents right down. If they have rice, it's wholemeal or it's basmati, but we suggest only a small amount of that. And the grains that are unrefined, like millet and quinoa, I don't know if they're available here, but you have so many beautiful carbohydrates here that are low glycemic, like the breadfruit, like you call it dalo. They're the best. I spoke to one lady 10 years ago. She was in her 80s. I said, what did you eat as a child? She said, we didn't walk around eating bread. We walked around eating the island carbohydrates, cassava or dalo, one of those. That's getting people back to that. But what we're also looking at is the bread is so easy. It's in every shop. Whereas the cassava, you have to cook it, or the sweet potato, it's a matter of...
So let's talk about this. Many homes, they go for the bread, then they'll have tea with X amount of teaspoons of sugar, and most likely they'll have butter. What does that do to your body?
See, this is a recipe for diabetes. It's not a puzzle that diabetes is out of control. It's out of control in Australia too. People eat too much bread. Now, when I lived in a rainforest, and I learned a lot in my rainforest home because everything we ate, I made. And slow food, when you're making it yourself, is the food you have to cook. The food you have to make. Fast food is fruits and vegetables. And because so many people live in cities now, they've lost the conception of the good fast foods, because all those foods that take a while to cook in the home, out on the farm, are fast in the cities. And I don't think anyone chose to eat this way. It's just fast. It's just there. It's just quick. And so many homes today, the mother works, she wants something quick, something easy. What's quick and easy? 2-minute noodles, pasta, breads. They're the quick and the easies. And if the little one's hungry, just give them a biscuit, because it takes a while to open a pineapple and skin the pineapple. The biscuit's just there, so it's easy. And when I first came to Fiji 22 years ago, I was asked to speak at a women's retreat. And I noticed a lot of the women had little ones, and the little ones were eating biscuits. And they kept being given biscuits. And I began to speak against it. Because what are the biscuits? Wheat and sugar. Do you know, within 3 days, they weren't eating biscuits anymore. They'd stopped giving them the biscuits because I showed them what was happening. And then the little ones are nibbling on this all day. Then you sit down to a beautiful meal of all the island foods, but the little ones aren't interested because they nibble on the biscuits.
It's a recipe for disaster. Doc, in relation to you specialize, your interest is also in child health. Are you seeing this pattern from the children as well?
Well, if the adults, the parents are not eating healthy, then children don't have any choice. They are also being, as she mentioned, too much of bread, too much biscuits, noodles. A huge problem. Children. I have witnessed. People have told about. They have mentioned to me that there will be healthy, natural food, dal and wholemeal rice, Fiji rice, dalo and sweet potatoes will be cooked, will be ready. But children, and even teenagers, they will choose noodles and snacks and fried food, chips, like chips, fried potato chips. So it's what really needs to change is the mindset. Now the people are like hell bent on eating processed food, on eating meat, and taking carbonated drinks and sugar. And these, as she mentioned, these are the perfect recipe for diabetes, hypertension, obesity, leading to metabolic syndrome, whereby insulin is there in the body, but the insulin is not able to perform its job because of resistance. So the body tissues are because of high fat content, the body tissues have become resistant to insulin. So the result is diabetes, hypertension, and ischemic heart disease. So the bottom line is that it's the diet that people need to understand is the correct measure to reverse diabetes, to reverse diabetes and hypertension. What to speak of preventing it and controlling it. So diet, exercise, and the mindset. We need to work on changing the mindset of the people.
Let's talk about this. We've got the 2011 statistics. When I was reading the statistics, I saw you shaking your head. Now we already know that the younger generation, the trend continues. If this is to continue the way it is, how do you envisage things to unfold for Fiji?
It's very sad the way that he's going. But there's a Proverbs 14 verse 6 that says, knowledge is easy to him that understands. I like to go into the cardiovascular system, into the blood vessel. Why? Why is that breaking down? Why is that building up? And I'm very thankful to Dr. Malcolm Kendrick, and he specialises in cardiovascular health. He's written a book called The Clot Thickens. And in the last 10 years, they've discovered there are fine little hairs, they're like little filaments that coat the endothelium cells that line the arterial wall, and they play a protective role. But when someone's on a high sugar, high bread diet, that high sugar causes those little filaments to lay down. So now they've lost it. But what's happening in the micro capillaries, they're the tiny little ones that are inside the kidneys, the tiny little ones behind the eyes, the tiny little ones that are right down at the bottom of the feet. Those microvilli, when they lay down, those little micro capillaries explode. They rupture and explode. And so now you haven't got the movement of blood through the feet, and you've got pressure on the blood system, and that rises blood pressure. And those little tiny micro capillaries in the kidneys and at the back of the eyes, they're bursting because of this high sugar, high wheat diet and the cheap seed oils. You put all of those together, you got a recipe for disaster. And Dr. Malcolm Kendrick's book's called The Clot Thickens. And he shows that.
Interesting, the clot thickens. We've got a lot of clotting and deaths based on that, Doctor?
Yes, we do, because as a result of processed diet, and also people eat a lot of meat as well, processed meat and unhealthy fat in Fiji. So cholesterol is another huge problem, high cholesterol, and people do not take regular medications to control it. So as a result of that, the clot is already forming in the arteries, and when they dislodge, they enter into the arteries of the heart, and there is a heart attack. We are already seeing the effects of unhealthy living and unhealthy diet. We are seeing it in a big way, and it's totally unacceptable. People are dying of heart disease, dying of heart attack in the 20s now. That's totally unacceptable. 20s, 30s, and 40s, and productive age. And we know, like for just for diabetes, 145 million annually is the burden that diabetes causes in Fiji. And NCD in total, $591 million annually is the NCD burden in Fiji. So it's people dying young, and also high percentage of population has these deadly diseases, and as a result of that, their productivity is affected. So it is very serious, and I think. As she already said, that the solution is going back to the natural way of life, living the natural healthy diet.
Let's talk about mindset change. I mean, people are seeing some of these campaigns. They come in, go out, and in terms of, maybe I will not have this, maybe I will just reduce my sugar intake, but continue to have those carbs and those oils that still continues to have that issue. If somebody is watching this and really wants to make it, and I'm sure people are interested in what you're saying, what's your message to them if they, number one, already have diabetes or have some issues already? What remedies or what can they do? And for those who are interested to make sure they change, what's your message to them?
My message is start small, because then it's reachable. It's like beginning to implement more of the natural food, the Fijian food. The markets are full of these beautiful foods. And mothers, stop buying the biscuits. Mothers, stop buying these things, so that and you were talking, Doctor, about the child has all these beautiful food here, but they go for the noodles. Well, don't have the noodles. Stop buying them so much. And I think one of the most beautiful desserts I've had here in Fiji was grated cassava, grated coconut, and mashed banana, all cooked together in a cake. So you have beautiful foods. So it's getting that out of the diet, little by little, replacing it. And if the child says, but I want biscuit, I suggest the mother say, oh, I love you too much to give you biscuit. Have some pineapple. And I always maintain you'll be surprised what they'll eat when they're hungry. So we try and get the bad solutions out of the house and make the food beautiful. Your native food is beautiful. At first the children might not like it because sugar is addictive. And as I just showed you, you combine sugar and wheat together, highly addictive. And so little by little, you start to implement the better choices into the diet. And think early. Think about breakfast the night before. Maybe cut up the papaya and the pineapple the night before, because you get up in the morning, oh, quick. Well, it's already there. I haven't got time to peel the pineapple. Do it the night before. It's at breakfast, think about lunch. At lunch, think about what you'll have in the evening. In the evening, think about what you'll have at breakfast. You've got to take a few steps, because this will take a little bit more time. But there's a poem. It's called Choose Your Hard. Marriage is hard, divorce is hard, choose your hard. Saving every cent is hard, being in debt is hard, choose your hard. exercising every day is hard, being obese is hard, life is hard, but we can choose our hearts. And often with these quick, fast foods that just seem to be the the shortest fix for hunger, it's like buy now, pay later. And what you do in your 20s is revealed in your 40s. What you do in your 40s is revealed in your 60s. Today's the first day of the rest of your life. Today we can start making some changes. And this is why I do what I do. What I do is I educate people. I give them information because our choices are all made according to the information we have. So if we have more information, we're actually able to make some better choices.
Dr. Maharaj, I read many years ago that the biggest drug in this world is sugar. What do you think of that comment?
It's very true that sugar it acts like a drug. It is addictive. It causes inflammation, and because a lot of food there is presence of sugar in a lot of food, so that makes people their liking for processed food is because of sugar is there. So I would say just from where she left, I would say that yes, education is very important. People need to be informed, taught and educated about the bad effects of sugar and unhealthy lifestyle. And I would say that people need to read themselves. They need Vijay, one thing that research has shown, just by giving information about healthy living, that does not bring about a behavior change. So what brings about a behavior change? One is people need to read for themselves what is healthy living, what healthy living means, what healthy diet means, and why we should be eating healthy food as opposed to processed food and fried food and fatty food. And secondly, I would say, very important, that we should introduce this education in our schools, and it should start in primary schools. Thirdly, we should include about healthy living and good family values. Even we have problems of HIV, AIDS, we have problems of drugs. All these we need to educate our children early, and again I would say that it should start in primary school, and parents should be role models. So to bring about a behavior change, just by imparting knowledge it will not, but parents should be role models. Or if parents are not role models, then caregivers should be role models. That way children, because children they follow what adults do. They're very good at they will see and they will follow. So that's why we need good role models in the society, in homes.
You're watching Fiji Village Street Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break. In a world where opinions are loud and facts can fade, there's one voice in Fiji that stays true to the truth. For 40 years, our news team has brought factual and reliable information on our 5 radio stations: FM 96, Legend FM, Naftarang, VT FM, Radio Sargam, and for over 2 decades, Fiji Village has been where credibility lives, connecting Fijians to the stories that matter most. With over 3 million monthly page views and a growing digital reach across Fiji and beyond, Fiji Village delivers news as it happens, when it happens. The news, sports, in-depth talk shows, explainers, special events, entertainment, business sections, video features from our 5 radio stations and live radio all come together on this live and engaging platform. Through our flagship show, Straight Talk, we bring the nation's most important voices, the people of the country, and the leaders to the forefront, creating space for dialogue, accountability, and change. From breaking stories to community campaigns, Fiji Village has become part of the fabric of everyday Fiji life. For businesses and brands, partnering with Fiji Village means more than just visibility. It's credibility. Fiji Village, Fiji's most trusted digital news source. Real people, real stories. Fiji Village, your trusted news provider. Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan, and this is a special Straight Talk, especially for this festive season, to eat healthy and maybe some good lifestyle changes based on statistics. And we've got Barbara O'Neill and Dr. Maharaj talking about a lot of that. Now, sometimes, Barbara, in Fiji, they say it's more expensive to be a vegetarian or vegan. What's your comments, though?
Well, I guess if you're just going to go into the supermarket and get all the packaged foods, it might be, but I don't do that. In fact, I think one of the cheapest foods is legumes, lentils, chickpeas, lima beans. You buy a packet of lentils and you soak it, and now you've got twice as many. They just really need to have a soak and a really good rinse. Nuts are expensive, but nuts should be a small part of the meal. I'd like to eat maybe about 8 nuts at the end of a meal, and seeds, pumpkin seeds. There are 40.8 grams of protein to 1 cup of pumpkin seeds. It's one of the highest sources of proteins. So the seeds are cheap, and also your market foods, like all your root vegetables here in Fiji, your greens, your pineapples, all of that. That's not expensive. And I have bought some coconut oils in the markets in, I think, whiskey bottles. Someone's making them at home. That is not expensive. It is the packaged foods that are expensive.
Dr. Mara?
Yeah, I agree with that. A kilo of lamb chops costs $25, and in $25 you go to the market, you can buy a basket full of fruits and vegetables which you can eat for the whole week. So it's not expensive.
Let's talk about stress. They say stress in this fast-moving world, there's a lot of stress involved, and for human beings, they continue to push and try to be the best at what they do. How dangerous is stress?
It's very, very dangerous, because eventually the body's going to say enough, and it's going to stop you. And that stop may be a stroke, it might be a heart disease, and then you've really got to stop. So far better that we stop a little bit earlier. And when I'm on the road in a car and someone gets angry, you know what I say? They had a late night, they're dehydrated, and they're on too much coffee. Because when our body is well hydrated, well slept, well fed, well exercised, the nervous system is much, much calmer.
Stress, Dr. Maharaj?
Well, stress is not a little bit of stress we all have, which is physiological stress. That keeps us going. So that is good for the body. But excessive stress, of course, is not good. It contributes to inflammation, and it contributes to unhealthy eating. When we are stressed, we don't get enough time to fetch good food, and we just rely on processed food. Important thing is that we need to learn to manage our stress, and managing stress means exercising, sleeping on time, drinking a lot of water, and planning your day. Time management is very important. Time is money. I mean, we can have a whole session on time. Time is money, and in Fiji, people waste so much of time around the grog bowl, and they drink grog till very late in the night, and they will eat little bit of food or whatever food that they want to eat, like around midnight, 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, which is the time that you should be resting. And we are meant to sleep early and wake up early. And we are stressing ourselves so much by drinking grog and staying up so late. Just recently, I back from Lambasa, and I know in death rituals, it's very sad. In death rituals, you're supposed to sit down with family and pray for the departed soul. But people will only go there just to drink grog at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And it happens both in the two major races in Fiji, in the Ethiopians and in the Indo-Fijians. And so that is something that we really need to change. Really need to change, because people sleep deprivation. At the same time, they will be drinking a lot. They will be smoking. They will drink grog and they will smoke a lot. And there will be people sitting with them, even small children, who are getting exposed to the smoke, and that is passive smoking. And passive smoking is more dangerous than active smoking. So it's very important that we need to change it. And so much of time is wasted, and the next morning people are not prepared to go to work. People are not prepared to go to the farms, and farms are just left barren, and there is no production of natural healthy food, and we are just relying on processed food and high import of processed food and less exports, and economy is affected, family is affected, individual life is affected, and we are getting poorer and poorer day by day.
Let's talk about sleep deprivation. You've focused on this issue a lot in relation to sleep. If you can speak to the audience about that.
I certainly do. I read a book about 10 years ago called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, and he's a British neurologist. And fascinating, he goes into great detail on what happens when we sleep. And he said, after all my research, he said, I was very disappointed with the results. He said, you need 8 hours a night. He said, I'm very disappointed because I hoped the research would show 6 would be enough. But he said it must be 8. So I came up with God's perfect mathematical formula: 8 hours to work, 8 hours to play, and 8 hours to sleep. Do you know that formula would prevent so much stress? People are overworking, underplaying, and missing out on those hours of power, especially the hours before midnight. I was surprised at what's happening before midnight. That's when healing accelerates. Before midnight is when there's a clean-up team in the brain that cleans up waste from neuronal activity, waste from the combustion of oxygen and glucose at the cellular level. And they have found people with Alzheimer's, often they have continual late nights, and the clean-up team's not happening, and amyloid plaques, calcified deposits, are building up in the front part of their brain. Wow, all because of lack of sleep. So sleep deprivation is a huge contributing factor to stress, contributing factor to all diseases, because in those hours before midnight, that's when the brain and the whole body is targeting regeneration, restoration, rejuvenation. And so if you're not getting those early hours before midnight, you wake up in the morning and you will not feel like you're ready for the day. And so then the people grab the quick fix, coffee and a few teaspoons of sugar. Yes, that gives a lift, but it's like taking out a loan to pay off your loan. You know, that lift is not coming from the food we eat. That lift is coming from the adrenal glands. So 10 years of that, the person's diagnosed with adrenal exhaustion. So my question always is, well, why do they have adrenal exhaustion? They're basically living on their bank account. And that bank account, of course, is the adrenal hormones, which are being are being wasted, being used by the quick fixes, which are the most popular quick fixes, that combination of sugar and caffeine, whether it carbonated drinks or whether it be in coffees and teas.
Let's talk about mental health now. We've got a serious issue. Our the only psychiatric hospital, St. Giles, bursting at its seams. We do not have enough facilities. We do not have enough beds. Now the problem has been exacerbated with the drug addicts. A real issue. How much are we doing, and what can be done to ensure we control it or prevent it, Doc?
Definitely our resources are stretched. We don't have enough doctors at the St. Giles Hospital. Neither the facility is big enough to handle the influx of drug-related problems. So I think the important thing is prevention. Really, in Fiji, we know that as a result of, on one hand, we have the non-communicable disease, which causes a huge economic burden, and on the other hand, is cancers and mental health problems. So prevention is the way forward. And we've already talked about stress management, importance of sleep, and we know as a result of I think the breakdown of family values and the breakdown of family unit is a huge contributor to stress and mental health problems in Fiji. We know there's a high rate of marriage breakdown, divorce, gender violence, domestic violence, child abuse. So we need to go back to the family unit, and we need to sit down as a family every day on a regular basis and talk about these issues, discuss these issues, and if need be, take help of people in the family or in the community who can be our mentors. Because in this stone age, in this dark age, just at a slightest misunderstanding, there will be a very big fight. And at the slightest misunderstanding, there's breakdown of families, there's breakdown of marriages. And so we need a total package whereby there is nurturing of our children from young age. Parents need to be taught good parenting skills. We need to have family meetings. By family meetings, I mean that on a regular basis, the family sits down around the dining table or just together and prays together, discusses the issues that is facing them and facing our children, and we all need to, in the home, children need to be encouraged to help their parents from an early age. Parents should not be overprotective. Parents should not be doing everything on their own, because when they do that, then the children are left to play on their video games and do their own things, and then they don't learn responsibility. So that we need, and we've talked about this before in other forums. Social capital in Fiji, the social capital is good. We have churches, we have NGOs, we have extended families. So it has to be a collective. Just like they just saying, it takes a whole village to raise a child. So we need to nurture our children, address issues early, and focus on prevention. And holistic approach that will bring about the paradigm shift that we want.
What are your thoughts on that, Barbara?
I think it's absolutely true, and I want to go back to that perfect mathematical formula: 8 hours to work, 8 hours to play, 8 hours to sleep. When the children are part of the family, Firmin, I love the way you brought that in, because I find there are too many helicopter parents today. They fuss and indulge the children, but children should be part of the home from an early age, helping to clear the table, helping to put the clothes away, into the kitchen. I always bring my grandchildren in the kitchen, have them on stools, and they're chopping, and some people say they might cut their finger. I say, well, they won't cut it again. And there's band-aids to bind it up. Better to have that than children who can't work. And there must be some rules in the home regarding technology.
Yes.
And it's very, very important that there be guides and guidelines there. I believe children should earn every minute on that technology. Is your room clean? Is the dishes done? Is your homework done? All right, you can have 5 minutes. You know, it must be like that. And so many parents are not playing with their children. So it's important to go on camps with them and only bring natural food and cook it all in a lovo and get them all part of that. And the children gather the sticks, take them to the beach. In fact, look at Australia. They all come to Fiji for their holidays. And Fijians, it's time to enjoy your island. And when you are sleeping better, and when you have time with the family, do family things together, there's less work in the home because the children are part of it. I know my son, they used to have fabulous family fun day once a month, where a whole day was devoted to what are we going to do this day? Are we going to go to a park? Are we going to go to the beach? The parents are part of the children. Take balls, play with the children. And I think it's a pity so many parents are just overworked. It's time to stop. And I love what you said about time. I love time too. So I was in a rainforest with no electricity and 6 children, and I homeschooled the children, and the way I did it was routine. So we did the same things at the same time every day, and that's how I fitted everything into the day. So, I mean, the king on his throne and the pauper in the street, they all have the same amount of time. So we've got the time. It's actually how you plan it and what you do with it. So remember that formula, those who are watching. Take time to play and do things with the family. That binds you together when you play with them. In fact, I've just visited my grandsons on my way home from my trip overseas, and as I saw the new baby, and my 7-year-old grandson saying, "Nana, put the baby down and come outside." He wanted to play cricket. So we played cricket for an hour. They just love it when you play with them. Now, I'm not very good at cricket. I have to refine my arts. But they just love it when you play with them. No matter what their age, they just love it. So that brings us back to parents, keep fit. So you can climb mountains with them. So you can catch ball with them. And that's where exercise. We must exercise every day. So getting back to the simple lifestyle changes.
Let's talk about drugs. We've had a lot of hard drugs. We've had young people now. It's been proven they're even getting HIV through injectable drugs. The latest statistics, the data is quite horrifying. And addiction is several factors there. Absent parents being one of the causes. Neglected children, breakdown of the society, breakdown of families, and then turning to drugs. What can be done there?
Everything I had already said, family up to the point of family meeting, discussing the issues, and what Barbara said, that parents need to play with children. There has to be a very friendly relationship between parents and the children. What we have in Fiji is parents, they don't have the right parenting skills, and we see even small children, parents They will shout at them, they will scold them, they will hit them and intimidate them. And as they are growing, they are their self-esteem is affected, and there is, as they grow, the disconnect between parents and children, they continue to increase. And the moment they get their freedom, then they start rebelling, and they want to do that. They want to try things on their own, and then the peer effect comes in, and that's where they no longer will. Beg of pardon. They will not reveal to their parents what they are up to, where they are going, and what they are doing, and that's how they get into mischief. So that trust between the parents, the nurturing of children, and that relationship between parents and children should be such that there should be a very friendly and amicable relationship and a very friendly environment in the house. And the golden rule should be, Vijay, that parents should not shout at their children, and their children should not shout at their parents. When that happens, then everything is spoiled. We have to express love and gratitude, to our children, and vice versa. And that happens. It only happens when there is family meetings, when the parents and the children are praying together. They, as she mentioned, they're all helping in the household chores, and they are aware of the family values and where parents are going and what parents are doing, and they're functioning as a family unit.
This drugs issue, some may be under the impression it's only in one community, but as you have discussed, that you can see it spread across Itoke, Indo-Fijian, other communities.
Yes, it's very much across other communities, and it's fueled by availability and peer pressure, and people like to. They're looking for happiness. Really, the bottom line is the people are looking for happiness and enjoyment, but they don't realize that drugs, alcohol, kava, smoking, they give you temporary happiness, but they damage your inner self. Your body is damaged, and even your consciousness is affected. Your behavior is affected, and you become violent, and you start creating mischief in the family, and so many homes are broken. People lose jobs because of drugs. So it's really a huge problem. And again, it has to be the families, the communities, and the social capital, NGOs, and everybody taking responsibility. It has to be a shared responsibility, and we all need to work hard towards curbing this problem. We really need to work hard, and we should be determined. It takes a lot of hard work and determination to bring about a change.
Barbara, we really have a real issue with hard drugs now and drug addictions, and I've talked about the statistics rising in terms of people now getting HIV through injectable drugs, even those living on the streets. If they recent statistics, they say if they pick a group of people, almost all of them are testing positive for HIV. What is your message on people turning to drugs, hard drugs?
It's alarming. I believe one of the reasons people are turning to that, and this might surprise our listeners and it might not, is children being given sugar, because it's such a highly addictive drug. So when you look at people that take marijuana, heroin, ice, they're addicted to the high. That's what they're addicted to, and you're absolutely right. Their life is miserable, and they get this lovely high. That's what they get addicted to. But of course there's always a corresponding low, and that's when they're reaching for more. That's what sugar does. Sugar gets that blood sugar level high, so it's addictive just like the drug. So that if you get children who are on a lot of sugar, then it's not hard for them to go over to the drugs, unfortunately. And we have seen at our retreat people be able to come off the drugs. Some, you know, it takes a while to come off some, but what we do is we have them a couple of days on juices. So here on the Fiji Islands, you could have a couple of days on the boo juice and lots of water. And we find it's a very effective way to detox from the drugs, because the body must be nourished to be able to do that. Because we've had so many people addicted to heroin, then they go to the hospital and they're put on methadone. But methadone is really not much difference to the heroin. But we find at our retreat that we have a steam sauna every afternoon, and they sweat out a lot of, you know, in the sweat, the waste coming out of the body, there's the addictive substances that they're addicted to. And so juice fasting, boo juice fasting, steam saunas, diving in the mountain pool, these alternating hots and colds, drinking a lot of water. We find people are able to detox from, yes, the sugar, yes, the caffeine, but also some of those heavier drugs. But the bottom line is they've got to stop. But if you are in a well-slept, well-exercised, well-hydrated, well-nourished body, that body can cope very well with the reduction of the addictions, because the future is not very good. So it might be one marijuana joint will do it for a whole day, but only after a week. So it's going to have to be 2 joints. It's going to have to be then 3 joints. And that's what you find with all addictions. They have to get more and more and more to get the same hit that they got from the first one. And it gets in an incredibly vicious cycle. Then, as the doctor said, the inflammation in the body increases, the cells start to break down. It's such a vicious cycle.
Let's talk about women's health. And sometimes, although half of our population is women, a lot of discussion does not take place on what the women are going through. We have a majority of our population under the age of 40, and very soon, and we are starting to see that many more women will go through perimenopause and menopause, and there's not much awareness or understanding regarding that, which could raise a lot of issues. What is your advice to the people in Fiji about things like this?
It is a huge problem today. It's probably one of my most popular programs, talks that I give is the hormones. And men have hormones as well as women, and men can show symptoms in low sperm count, penile dysfunction, prostate problems. With women there's a huge range, even to endometriosis, fibroids in the uterus, polycystic ovarian syndrome, coming into menopausal problems. So I always want to know why, because if you don't find the cause you will not have a cure. And you will find it all coincides with the contraceptive pill. So women will put on the contraceptive pill. I think 1957 the first contraceptive pill was introduced. 1960 it became big. It is still big. It's a problem. It's a huge problem, because how it stops a woman conceiving is by putting synthetic hormones into her body. So the body now thinks it must be pregnant, so it doesn't release the egg. And because it doesn't release the egg, a little blister called corpus luteum's not made. And that's what produces progesterone. Progesterone's mother hormone. She abides over them all. And so what's happening is mother hormone's dropping, and estrogen, which is in the contraceptive pill, is rising. We've now got this hormonal imbalance, which is the main cause of all the problems we're seeing. So the woman's been on the pill maybe 5 years before she had her baby, not even realising what it was doing to her, because women are not told. So what do we do now? Now she's going through menopause, she's having a terrible time. I have a a friend who's a doctor in Suva, and she found that giving green drinks, so green drinks can be green barley, which is the powdered shoot of the green barley plant. You can buy it as a powder, or if it's some of the women living in the villages, they can gather mile a minute, they can gather moringas, they can gather some of the wild greens, blend them with water, strain it and drink the water. And I was surprised to hear the success that she is having with this, and then I wanted to know why. Well, the molecular structure of human blood and the molecular structure of chlorophyll, which is basically the green, is very, very similar, and it has a wonderful cleansing effect on the blood. And when you start to cleanse the blood, you start to get balance through the body. There's a cream called the wild yam cream. We make it in Australia, and I know many countries do have the wild yam cream. And that wild yam contains a plant chemical called diosgenin. And that diosgenin, when it's made into a cream and applied to the skin, the fat cells take it up, and it stimulates the biological pathway that the body uses to make progesterone. So we've got to reinstate mother hormone. And when you reinstate progesterone, that hormone automatically puts into balance the testosterones, the estrogens. And for the last 40 years I've been helping women with this, and we've seen amazing results of women once again reclaiming their lives. The hot flushes reduce, the fibroids start to reduce. All these problems that we're seeing are starting to remedy because the hormones are once again balanced. In Psalm 104 verse 14, the Bible says that God gave herbs for the service of man. And I love the description of that. So those herbs come in and they work with body symptoms. God made the body, He made it to heal, He made the herbs, they work together. And that's where the herbs can play a wonderful role in contributing to the body getting back to proper balance, because the body runs according to precision balance. So it's not only the contraceptive pill that's thrown the woman's hormones out, it's also chemicals, exposed to chemicals, chemical fabric like nylon, acrylic, polyester, especially when the woman wears it next to her skin, and hot Fiji day and this fabric warms up and the pores open. It's a whole lot of little bits and pieces that come together that are contributing to this hormonal imbalance. So I encourage women, go back to the cottons, go back to the natural fabrics. And this dress that I have on, it's made out of rayon. And rayon is what a lot of your sulus, your sarongs in Fiji are made out of. And it's made out of wood pulp. So rayon is considered a natural fibre. But going back to the cottons and the rayons and the linens, so yes, it's the fabrics, yes, it's the contraceptive pill, yes, it's the chemicals that are in many fast foods that little by little, like the dripping tap on a stone, are causing a disruption in the hormones, producing the problems we're seeing today.
Dr. Maharaj?
Well, I'd just like to say a little bit about natural treatment of menopause. I remember once my sister was having very severe menopausal symptoms, and I just put on black cohosh. It's a natural remedy, and it worked wonders. Of course, some women will need a hormone replacement therapy. It is a debatable topic, but the alternative, which does work, is black cohosh, and of course, again, diet. Even at an advanced age, around menopause, again, lots of fruits and vegetables. One thing that I didn't mention today when we're talking about diet is that the Ministry of Health and World WHO is recommending that we should be taking 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. So one serving of a fruit or a vegetable is about a cup. So a cup of salads, or a cup of pawpaws, or a cup of banana. So that we should be taking across the board. And with regards, and something else that I would like to say about women's health, of course, in our country and in the world today, women are not given the respect that they should be given. They are our mothers, they have given us birth. Children should be respecting their mothers, their parents. They should be helping their mothers in the housework, in the household chores, and then they will realize that they do so much for us. And I think that is an underlying problem in the society that contributes to other problems that women have. So that's something that they need support in the house. It's not that they are the only ones who should be cooking, who should be washing the dishes, and who should be sweeping the house. No, I think children should also be doing. Men should be also helping when the women are working. And it should be a teamwork, and there should be very loving and caring relationship that should exist in a family. And we should all learn to express gratitude towards each other. I mean, we see today toxic social media, people are just attacking, personal attacks. I mean, why can't we just appreciate what our leaders are doing, what our media is doing, what our doctors are doing, what our mothers are doing, what our fathers are doing? Express gratitude, learn to say please and thank you, and try and make others' life happier and prosperous.
And as we finish off the show for tonight, great discussion on this very important topic. Your final message, Barbara, to the people of Fiji who are watching here and those who are connected to us from around the world.
Well, my final message to the people of Fiji is begin to love and respect your bodies. What an incredible organism it is. And if we look after this body, it will look after us, and it'll look after us very, very well. And I love the good doctor's message to be kind to each other, to help each other, and bring the children in to help. And I know when the mother's in the home singing, it's a happy home. And what that does, kindness feeds other kindness. So please, do all you can. Always look for someone to help. Always smile at everyone you meet. Always look at how you can help someone in any way. Do you need to open the door for them? And then the little children see that and they start to help. When you deprive the children of work, you deprive them of the joy of accomplishment. So one by one, I believe we can change the world by starting to appreciate our bodies, looking after our bodies, and also helping and looking after each other. We can do much.
Dr. Maharaj?
Once again, be kind, thankful, express gratitude. We are very thankful that God has given us this beautiful body. Look after this body. Eat healthy, sleep on time, exercise, very important, drink lots of water, pray. Always learn to pray. Pray for your family members, pray for your country, pray for your leaders, attend church functions, go to the mosques, go to the temples. Do not engage in mischief and sinful activities, and golden advice: do not shout at your parents, and parents do not shout at the children, and always say please and thank you.
And those are the great messages. It's a privilege to have hosted you tonight for this show that we hope will make a big difference in the lives of those watching. We've really dissected a number of issues, and I'm grateful for that we managed to do that. And we're just days away from Christmas, so may you all have a Merry Christmas and also a healthy and prosperous 2026.